All right, I believe we're on air. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, or wherever you are, actually. Today is December 2nd, 2015, and today I have with me Joe. And today we're going to be talking about the behind the scenes of Joe's life and his connections with ETs. So, Joe, I like to hand it over to you and say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody.
For those who haven't seen Joe yet, this is awesome. This is Joe. And Joe, let's go back to your early days. Let's go back to how it was at home, even in school. Can you take me back to 5, 6, 7 years of age?
Yeah, I really don't remember much before I was 6 years old. The first memory I have was my dad, and he was a very violent, psychotic person, and I remember him uh, in, being mean to our animals and cats and things like that, and that was my first memory, and it really horrified me. And uh, around 6 years old, like I don't remember this, but I was always told like when I was a little kid, I was like the happiest little kid. I'd run around, wave at everybody, talk to everybody. But that all changed about when I was 6 years old, and it was when aliens started to come and visit me. They were the Illuminati Greys, and they really messed up my whole family. And I didn't understand what was going on. My whole family structure changed, and
Yeah, share that story. Take us back to a story of what really, step by step, what happened.
well, I really don't have any. It's a lot of it's blocked. Like it's very traumatic. But I remember, like I would, when I was a kid, I'd go under my blankets and I would hold my breath until I passed out because I was so terrified. I thought they were demons, little gray demons, and so I would just hold my breath until I passed out. But I remember the terror and things like that. And I after that I wasn't the same anymore. I was very quiet and reserved, and but it was when I was a kid. I didn't understand. I could feel everyone. I knew if you were a good person, a bad person. I could feel who you were. And when everything changed and everything got negative, it was like I compare it to like if you had a raw exposed nerve and you threw it into a fire. That's how it felt. It was terrible.
Well,
So
yeah, what the story, was there one, what you said, that came into your room? About how old were you when that
I
happened?
was 6.
Okay. Would you like to share a little bit of that?
I don't remember. I remember the feelings, and I remember just a very short image of him standing in the doorway. That's all I remember.
Okay, okay. I wasn't sure if that's the one that was looking through your stuff or
No, that's a different one. That's way later.
oh, later on. Okay, we haven't got that far yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, we'll bring those up. Your background, were you did you guys go to church when you were younger? Anything like that?
Yeah, I was actually I grew up in the church. I went to a Christian school and went to church every Sunday, and I it didn't make sense to me. I didn't believe what they were telling me. I'm like something's not right, and I didn't understand. I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was evil because I didn't believe what they were telling me. I think something's not right. I mean, some of it's true, but it just did not feel right to me. And I always had like an opposition to it because I felt I was being deceived on some level.
Mhm. Was was your parents, were they very strict on going to church all the time?
My mom was, my dad didn't care. He didn't really go to church.
Yeah. What was it? Let's see here. Your family life behind the scenes. Did you ever feel like so ever since that happened, that contact, the gray that you saw, did that, you said you became more isolated, like wanting to be away from everybody? Were
Yeah,
you alone a lot? Yeah.
yeah, I was always alone. I felt alone. I could be in a room full of people and I felt like I didn't belong there. I felt completely alone. And there was a lot of anxiety, a lot just is very, very uncomfortable. And I always retreated into my mind. I'm like, I'm always safe within my mind. So that's where I went. And I couldn't communicate with people. I found it extremely difficult. They didn't understand what I was saying. And I didn't really, I thought I understood what they were saying, but every time I would say something, they would just like, they would get awkward because it wasn't the correct response.
So did you ever reach out to your mom and dad to say, "Hey, this is what I'm seeing in my room," or visions? Yeah.
No, I couldn't do that
Okay.
because like my family structure is like it was very dysfunctional, very violent, very abusive, and it was like life or death every day. It was like walking on eggshells. You didn't know what was going to happen, so you had to pretend everything was fine, everything was all right, everything was normal.
Mhm. Any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have a younger brother. Um, it's interesting. He has nightmares and things like that. He's not into all this stuff, but he believes it. But he's just not ready to deal with it. Try to talk to him about it, and he just gets he freaks out because it. I think it triggers memories for him, and he's not ready. So
Moving up in school, in elementary school, what was that like? Can you share with us? What was the environment like for you? Was it hard in school? Were you bullied or challenged against, from other people? Did you feel isolated?
it was extremely difficult because I would go all day without talking to anybody. I couldn't communicate with people. I didn't have any friends, and I was just extremely isolated. I felt like I didn't fit in, and it was just a very lonely place to be. And I went through, I remember kindergarten through. Then I started to act out in first grade. I started to just freak out. I'd always be in the principal's office and things like that because I was just so confused and angry and just I didn't understand the world. I didn't understand people.
The anger that you speak of, what was it that you were really angry at, toward?
I was angry because I didn't understand. I didn't understand why people couldn't why I couldn't connect to people, why I didn't have friends, why I felt the way I felt. I didn't understand it and it made me angry.
And then the people say, moving up, was it even the neighborhood? Was it easy to go outside and play with anybody around you at the time?
I wasn't allowed to have friends. I didn't have any friends. I spent all my time alone.
Okay. The stories, even through your elementary school years, you still have a non? Was it still a lot of contact that you were having?
I really don't remember. I remember feelings and random images, but it's blocked for some reason.
Interesting. Let's see here. When say moving up, then is there anything at that elementary school level, that anything else that you can remember, that started that you started really understanding more about what was going happening around you? Did you start to feel like something was something was missing?
I always knew something was missing. I'd always have dreams and strange thoughts, like flying spaceships and being on ships, and I didn't understand. I actually thought Star Wars was a documentary. I thought it was real. And I remember, like when I was 8 or 9 years old, that I was saying, well, yeah, when I grow up, I want to fly spaceships. And they were like, that's not real. And I remember I was messed up for 2 months. I was devastated. I'm like, what do you mean that's not real? It has to be real.
I mean, it looks real. It's really cool in the movies.
Yeah, but I'd watch the movies and then I'd have memories of being on the ships.
Yes.
So it was real to me. I didn't have a distinction between that world and this world. I thought it was the same, which it is. It's all real, but I didn't. People don't understand that.
So you had this inner knowingness, that those triggers, that, man, this is like, that's probably the confusing part. It's like it's happening, but it's like where's my ship, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was crazy. It was like I'd come back here and I'd be like, I don't belong here. What is this place? This is like an insane asylum. It
Yeah.
just did not make sense to me. I didn't understand how people could treat each other the way they treated, why people lied. why people did things like that. I didn't
Yeah.
understand because I wasn't like that. I was always very honest with people.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say it's interesting. The leading up even to say to junior high. Let's move up now. What was that whole life like? I mean, from sixth to seventh, eighth grade. What was? Did you get into trouble a lot, or were you more? Did you start to open up to other people?
Well, we'll go back to fifth grade. Fifth
Okay.
grade, I, you know how they have the police officers? They come into the school and they teach you, oh, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. And I was like, I'm reading these pamphlets they're giving me, and I'm like, why do people do drugs then? Why? I'm like, why would anyone do them to themselves? I'm like, these people are lying to me on some, which, they do try to scare you so you
Right.
don't
You
screw
don't.
up your life. But they do it the wrong way. They should just be truthful with you. And so I remember that day I made the decision. I'm like, I'm going to try every drug I can get my hands on. And I did.
Yeah.
I started to drink alcohol in fifth grade and I start to act out. And then in seventh grade, I got expelled from school,
Mhm.
and I had to go to public school then. And uh, one of my friends went with me, and we the first year it was eighth grade. We started in eighth grade, and I used to play football. I used to do things like that. And I never liked it. I just did it for friends, just to feel like I fit in, but I didn't fit in.
Yeah.
So, and then I started to do drugs, and I quit my football and all that. My grades went downhill. I started to smoke weed, do speed, pills, and things like that.
What was the family life still at home? How about mom? What was mom's role? I mean, with you, was it easy to talk to your mom and
I
dad
could
at the time or not?
I could talk to my mom. My mom's she's an angel. She's a very good person. I mean, she's
Yes.
very loving, very supportive. My dad, no, you couldn't talk to him. You never knew whether he was going to beat the shit out of you or just flip out on you. Everything I ever did was wrong or stupid. I was always put down. Like if he would have a bad day, it was my fault.
Ah, the blaming, the projecting.
Yeah.
I see. I understand now. Yes, take me. So in junior high, what was it? So it was like the rebellion stage. Really?
Yeah, yeah, that's when I really started just not to care anymore.
Yes.
And I went into it doing a lot of drugs, and I was always the outsider. I never fit in, so I dressed the part, and I always dressed in black. I still do. I like black now. It's not because I'm just I like the color, but
It's cool.
yeah. So I started to do that, and I would attract like people similar to me, very dysfunctional, very a lot of pain inside, and so I was like always the instigator. I would always like, well, let's go do some drugs or let's go do something, you
Yes.
know, just crazy, just like for the adrenaline rush.
And also, was it kind of like to help escape that home life away from dad? You know?
Yeah, yeah. It was like I was creating a new reality. It was like it was like living on the edge. It was pure adrenaline and excitement. It was
Yeah. And even in junior high, you want to stay there, you'll move up to high school. And
um,
at the same time, were you going through any other changes with your visions of with the extraterrestrials?
yeah. I went through a stage where I would buy T-shirts with aliens on them. I think about aliens all the time, Grays. But every time I would look at even a cartoon picture of a gray. Every hair on my body would stand up. I was very terrified, but yet I was so intrigued by them. I
So it was a
couldn't.
big curiosity that you had,
Yeah, I wanted to understand.
like how they're thinking, their mental process.
I saw them as people.
Yes.
I started to see them as people, and I wanted to understand them, and
Wow.
I wanted to understand myself too, and how it all fit together. But I never could put the pieces together.
Right.
It
Right.
wasn't the right time.
Interesting. And so, yeah, take me anything that you could share with the stories about when you were in junior high. Anything else? Did you come close to death with the what you were going through?
Not at that time. Not in junior high.
Okay. And then moving up, it's going to high school now.
Okay.
Um, what was that like? Ninth grade, you're entering. Um, same. Any of your friends like wanted to take you to church or anything?
No, my friends were all highly negative.
Okay.
They, well, that's not fair. They were negative, but they had a lot of pain and a lot of depression, just like me, and we identified in that regard. We never did anything positive. We would just do drugs and talk about crazy stuff. We're into a lot of like death metal and music and Satanism and things like that.
Yes.
So we,
But you
we
guys were very experimental and also probably creative, highly creative.
oh yeah, they some of my friends they were incredible artists and thinkers. And how I expressed myself was through words and philosophy. I would write poems and song lyrics and things like that.
Wow. In the those friends, did they finally move on? I mean, like when you were like in 10th, 11th, 12th grade, did they move on, or do you still kept in contact with one of them or two of them?
Most of them are dead.
Okay, okay. How did that change you when that happened? What was that first like aha? Like I don't want to go down, really go in deep into that anymore.
Oh, that wasn't until 2 years ago.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
so that
I
was yeah,
every time one of my friends would die, I'd be like, "Why can't it? Why can't I just die?" I didn't care.
right, right. Interesting. Um, those beings that influenced you in a way, the visions that you've had, even in high school, did it start to pick up more and more, or did it lessen? Like you were you able to start to sleep better through the years?
No, it got worse and worse. It just intensified, and I escaped through drugs. I started shooting heroin when I was 15,
Mhm.
and I did a lot of psychedelics and I started smoking crack and just shooting heroin all the time. That's all I did to escape.
Wow.
If I wasn't asleep, I was high. I couldn't deal with it.
Did your mom ever try to come in and try to wean you off of it, or try to help you in any way?
No, she couldn't. She was always preoccupied with protecting us and pacifying my dad, keeping things,
In check, in order.
Yes, yeah.
I see. I see.
There was no time for that.
Did your mom, in a way, protect you from your father?
She tried. She did her best, and she did. But I always viewed myself as the protector.
So you were very protective of mom.
Yes, I'm very protective of anyone I love. I'm very protective.
Wow. The in high school, what else? Go back. Do you want to move out of high school? I
Oh,
mean, what was your or toward that? Any other the visions and stuff? Do you start to feel real connections with? You said the Greys. Were the other races also that played a part?
there were other races. There were Pleiadians and people like that, but I didn't. I didn't. It was a time of severe disconnection. I was trying to disconnect from everything.
Okay,
I wanted to escape myself and
right.
everything, and it just was a very horrible downward spiral. I I went completely off the deep end. I started to I used to cut myself, do drugs, just
Just to
just
escape. Yeah.
yeah, just I used to cut myself because it made me feel alive. I couldn't feel anything anymore.
So
It was
that's what your only way of feeling was through that the pain.
yeah, yep,
Ah.
yep,
So the
yep.
pain became. Did it come like a numbness, like comfortably numb?
Yeah. It was like being dead inside, completely numb,
Wow.
and hatred and pain they became enjoyable to me. Depression was enjoyable.
Yes.
It was all I knew. So I started to enjoy those feelings. If that
So
makes
let's.
sense.
Were you ready to get out of school?
I got expelled. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So you
yeah,
got.
yeah. I got caught selling drugs and I got expelled. But I was highly intelligent.
Yes.
So I went and got my GED, and I graduated one of the highest in the states. And they had like a dinner and a little banquet for me and everything. I got an award,
Yeah.
but I didn't care about any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, So move out then. Move out of high school. Were there any girls in your life?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I was always weird that way. Like all of my friends and everyone, they wanted to sleep with as many people as possible. I just wanted one person, just one
Right.
person I could connect with and trust, and I could never find that.
Yes.
So when I did have a relationship, it lasted a very long time.
Yes.
And the longest one I had was 5 years.
And that person that was in your life, did she help pull you out of some of the depression or anything that you were going through?
No, she made it worse. She found she got a kick out of manipulating me. It was like
Oh,
no one else could manipulate me. I didn't let anyone mess with me, but she could manipulate my emotions, and she got a kick out of that. It was like the biggest, baddest person she knew. She could control and twist and make me do
Yeah.
whatever she wanted. And
Hmm.
it's
so it wasn't healthy.
no, she did terrible things. And I wasn't perfect either. I was
Yeah.
very screwed up on drugs. And I wasn't, but I would have came out of it. But no one could ever reciprocate my emotional depth I felt for people, and they couldn't connect.
Were you still getting a lot of, at that time with the girl? Did you still have a lot of? You still getting a lot of the downloads? You still feel like you were going to and from? Like
I knew I was, but I didn't understand it. I would wake up, and sometimes my window would be open in my room, and I didn't have it open. Or I would wake up and I'd feel like I was somewhere else doing something.
so. Did you ever feel really drained? Like drained?
All the time. I could not sleep enough. I could sleep 16 hours a day, and I'd wake up like didn't sleep at all.
Wow.
I thought I had some severe physical illness because I was always so drained. I could barely stay awake.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't sleep at all, but I slept all the time.
Interesting. And taking that further, what at that time of the relationship with her, was this like in your early 20s then?
No, I started young. This was 15.
Oh, okay. So this was during school.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
15 until I was 20.
Okay. The now after that, did you ever were you with other people that helped pull you out of that? Like just where you could easily talk to people, where you could, you know what I mean? Just to bring you out of that state of that deep dark depression.
No,
Okay.
I'm not saying people didn't try, but I was not receptive to it.
Hmm.
I felt like I didn't belong here, that there was something wrong with me. I thought I was evil. So, and I didn't want any parts of it.
So
I was on a mission of suicidal self-destruction,
okay.
and I didn't want help.
So move into your 20s now. Where then? What was it? Uh, what did you get into? Like job wise, or which direction did you go?
Oh, I started working very young too. I worked for my grandfather when I was a teenager. We drilled water wells. It was very dangerous work, but it was fun.
Yeah.
That's one person I connected with. It was my grandfather working with him. He's
Yes.
a very good guy. He was a Freemason, and he helped me out a lot. He's a super good guy. I know a lot of people that are Freemasons aren't good people, but he was.
Did he understand that side as a Freemason? Did he understand about the extraterrestrial part, or you never brought it up to him? Those dreams or visions that you're having.
He Not until later in life, and he was surprisingly very receptive. He knows a lot of things that he doesn't talk about.
Wow.
He won't talk
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
Very secretive about that.
Now, your grandfather, was that your dad's dad or your mom's dad?
My mom's dad.
Okay.
I couldn't connect with my dad's side of the family.
Right.
They were a little messed up too.
Yes.
It was my mom's side that I connected with.
Interesting. The okay, even going there. So you have your grandfather that you can connect with and understands you. Um, was that even up and through your 20s then?
Yeah, to this day.
Wow. Okay. Now, starting with the experiences, is anything else like the more physical that you can actually more remember? Was that more in your 20s then?
Well, it did happen, but I didn't remember it until later, to about 2 years ago. That's when I started to remember, and that's when it started to get real physical. It was
Okay.
always physical, but I didn't remember.
Right. So something happened to trigger them of why you, that's why I was curious. Like, wonder why all of a sudden you're remembering them. You know what I mean? Like, why then? Why a couple of years ago, not why way back in your,
I,
in school or anything. Yeah.
it's like it was some kind of plan or design. I don't I don't know.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I'll get to that. That's the good part of the story.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But it's cool because it shows like a progression. It shows, where you were and the struggles and stuff, and where you're starting to pull that out. You're starting to awaken within you. There's something like this awakening within you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like I started out very positive, very happy, very awake, and then I just died. I went through a period of numbness and disconnection, and then I reconnected, and it was very intense when I did.
Yes. Wow. And the in your 20s, was it your mid 20s when you really started? Quite. Oh, did you actually do research also, like online? Did you try to find
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
extraterrestrial? Tell me about this.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Like it was 2000. I found out these. It was I forgot my first computer, and the first thing I looked for, and it's like I didn't search for it. It just popped up. It was a documentary about Phil Schneider. I don't know if anyone knows who he is, but he built a lot of underground bases and um, a- with aliens and stuff like that. And that was the first video I ever watched on YouTube or wherever it was. I don't know.
What was his name again?
Phil Schneider.
Okay, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's the first video that I ever watched, and I was I was like, this stuff is so crazy. I'm like, but I know it's true.
So you could feel that something was really legit when he was speaking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could always tell if somebody was trying to deceive me or lie to me. A lot of the times I went along with it just to see what would happen or because I wanted something, but I can always tell.
Yes.
And it was uncomfortable for me because I don't want to see people that way.
Sure, sure. And what was it that really intrigued you about that?
About the video?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like I just felt like that's what I want to do. I always felt like in my life I had very low self-esteem, but
Yeah.
it was a strange contradiction because I knew I was important, and I
Yes.
couldn't explain that.
Yeah. You could
Like I had this knowing and just a knowing that I was important and that I was going to do things, but I to look at where I was, I'm like, this is crazy. Look at where I am. I'm like, that's no way. It's a dream.
Right. Interesting. In the when you were saw the video, then what other videos or do you remember? Do you ever listen to like Coast to Coast or any of these other like radio stations, or is it mostly videos that you were looking into about contact, uh, contactees? Yeah.
It was. I was really never interested in contactees. I was interested in connecting with the aliens. I wanted to meet them and I wanted to understand them. So it was mostly just finding information about them.
Yes.
And with my religious programming, I was confused. I thought, well, maybe they're actually just demons, and
Oh yeah.
the church didn't make sense to me. So I thought they were lying to me, and I'm like, well, maybe the dark side's the way to go. Maybe maybe that's the truth, and it's just all a horrible misunderstanding.
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, I should connect with these beings. I should connect with demons and aliens and all that stuff to understand, and I did.
Because I always think back to it when I was in church. Is like, you know what? Like they always anything that's not of Jesus or God. You know what I mean? Like they put that barrier. Like
Yeah,
that's of the devil. These
yeah.
demons.
Hmm.
And you're. I see why you're so curious. You're just wanting to understand.
Yeah,
my gosh. Yeah.
and anything they didn't understand was evil.
Yeah.
They didn't bother to try to have an open mind about it at all. It's just like, it doesn't say that in the Bible, it must be evil. I'm like, no, it can't be true.
Right. Why does everything that's good have to just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Has to come from the Bible. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
it all has to fit into their little box of how they see things. And if
Yes.
it doesn't fit in there, it's evil. And that just did not make sense to me.
And they always talk about astrology or oh, it's all of the devil or they push it away, you know, it seems
Yeah,
like.
yeah, psychics, astrology, anything like that. It's all from the devil. It's all demons manipulating people. I'm like, that's not true. Listen to what they're saying.
And how can they prove that? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, they can't.
You can't.
They can't prove it.
It's just so funny. I'm trying. I gotta be biased here. I mean, or not biased, but try not to have a bias. But it does because I was raised in the churches. I know how that is,
Mhm.
and I know how it's always one-sided. They don't really let you give you room to explore. It always seems this is the box. This is the mentality of the religions of the world, and they never really allow people to expand. You know, it's sad.
It's limiting and it's a lot of control. If it doesn't fit into the belief system, it's not. There's no place for it.
Right, right.
So, and there's a lot of the majority of people that go to church. They're good people,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
but they're just controlled, manipulated, and they're
It's
they're
it's a
trapped.
lot of,
They're
it's
trapped.
like
Yeah, they're
yeah,
trapped in a limiting belief system, and they don't know how to get out of it. They're afraid. They're afraid of the unknown. They're afraid of what they don't understand. They don't realize that it's a wonderful thing. The things they don't understand. It's not evil.
it's not evil.
No.
And it's okay to question. It's okay to question the churches. That's
Yeah.
another thing. It's
Yeah,
okay.
anything that doesn't allow you to ask questions, it's limiting in a form of control, because questions are how we grow.
Yes.
How can you grow and how can you understand if you're not allowed to ask questions?
Yeah.
If you're not allowed to think outside the box, how can you truly grow and expand?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Wow. And moving on to that and expanding on that. That's the one thing I wanted to talk about because it's like it's a limiting perspective, but also sometimes I feel that why people want to at least hold on to that belief is because they're afraid of what other people think. They're
Mhm.
afraid that, oh my gosh, if I start believing in aliens, what is my mom gonna think? My dad gonna think? My friends down the street, what are they gonna feel if I start to really, the church is telling me one thing, it's all evil, and they're demons, but yet, I'm really curious about what is this all about?
Yeah, they're afraid because it'll flip their world upside down. They'll lose all the people they have, and they won't be able to
Right
relate
there.
to the people
Said it.
anymore. Yeah.
Yes.
They have to change their whole world.
Yes.
And they're afraid of that.
They're
Like,
afraid of losing their family, and I do get that. I do understand that. Yeah.
it's like where they are right now. It's familiar. It's a sense of security to them, and in a way it simplifies things. This is just how it is, and that's it. So they don't have to think anymore. They don't. So it's just it's a place of false security.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not the people's fault. It's not. There's no blame there. It's that just to have the courage to start questioning more. To really go beyond the veil. And you're right. And it's not the pastor or the priest's fault either. It's just this is how they were raised and how they were taught. This is a certain tradition. They follow these traditions. And that's the thing. It would be nice for the churches to start to question even more of their own scriptures. Really start to dig into this, what they're seeing out in outer space. How can you deny that? You look up at the stars and billions or trillions of worlds out there, but yet they're not even willing to, this like Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark, that's it. 6,000, 7,000 years of history, and that's it so far.
Yeah,
Come on, really?
They're ridiculous to me.
Where's the dinosaurs playing into this?
Right?
Come
Where's
on.
the dinosaurs?
I
Where's
questioned them, at age 6 years of age, because I was curious. I was like, this just doesn't feel right,
Yeah. Even I remember my mom was telling me once. She was trying to, because I tell her a lot of things. She was explaining how mountains came to exist and geological activity because I was explaining it to her, and she was saying that to one of her friends, and he was like, "Well, the mountains are there because that's where God put them. They've always been that way." I'm like,
That's
what? What?
it. Where's the science behind that?
Yeah, it's
They just
ridiculous.
magically appear.
Yeah, yeah,
It's very, but I think it's right. It's a very easy answer. It's easy to say. It's simplified, and that's just it's God for everything. God created, and that's it. Well, yeah, that's a certain truth, but there's so much more behind that of how it was created. There's a science behind it.
Mhm.
Yes, creation. See, that's what I feel inside. It's like creationism, creation and evolution is one and the same, and it's a part of all of it. You know.
Yeah. One thing I like to tell people, like religious people, is like, well, I'm not saying God didn't create the world. He created everything. He is everything. But I'm saying, if you were God, wouldn't you design a grand process that we call evolution? A grand design?
Yes.
I'm like, it just didn't magically just appear into existence. You would make a grand plan and a process for it all to come about.
So God using creation, God using evolution as as the creation or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, like evolution is just God's process of creativity.
yes, yes. Yeah, I love how you say that, Joe. It's like allowing that expansion to take place, allowing that process to take place of growth, of a linearity. How you're from one point A to point B to point C, and vice versa. I mean, just to show us a physical matter. That density that we
Yeah,
come in
yeah.
this process,
Mhm.
and we come into these lifetimes and beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go on to your interactions in your mid 20s or late 20s. What else was going on at that time?
I joined the military. I joined the Marines.
Okay,
It didn't last very long. I
tell
was
me about that. Yeah, go into that. What was it?
uh, it was very different. It was shocking, thrilling, scary, but it was I liked it. But
Yeah,
I missed my family. I worried about them. I'm like, I can't even protect my family. How am I going to go? It was right. It was after 9/11. I'm
yes.
like, how can I go over and fight for my country and protect people? That's what I thought at the time. Anyway, I know that's not actually the truth. But if
Yeah,
I can't even protect my family. What am I doing? I need to go back and I need to fix my family first,
right.
get them safe before I try to do anything else.
Yes,
So I got honorably discharged under medical conditions,
yes,
and I went back home, and that's when things really deteriorated, like completely with my family. Anyway, me and my dad, we would get in constant fights. Like I would be, he'd try to call the police. He was afraid of me then, and I would rip the phone off the wall. I'd chase him around with knives. I would because I was angry. He was, because it was going to be me or him. One of us was going to die,
hmm
and so my mom it finally pushed my mom in to get us out, and we moved into a domestic violence shelter. And then it was such an incredible.
Was it your brother with you too? You
Yeah,
guys all?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And it was an incredible sense of relief. I was like, my job's done. Like
Yes.
I don't have to be here anymore. I can just go and die now.
It's nice because you did it for your family. Your family. You did it for your mom and your brother. Yeah.
And I was never really concerned about myself.
Right.
I did everything for other people. I lived for other people. I didn't live for myself.
Right.
So when that happened, that was just like it was an incredible relief for me. It was like my job's done. I don't have to do this anymore. I can just die.
hmm
And I had a complete nervous breakdown. Like didn't have a place to live anymore, and the girl I was with at the time, she left, and
Yes.
everything deteriorated. And I was back on heroin and doing smoking crack, and
Was this early 2000s then, or mid 2000s?
this was 2004, 2005, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And then I got on methadone, I was on methadone for 2 years, and I just stopped caring about everything. I didn't care about the way I looked anymore. I didn't care about anything. I just let myself just completely deteriorate.
Right.
And so, yeah, I had a nervous breakdown. I was committed to the psych ward actually,
Hmm.
and I met this guy in the psych ward, and he was a drug dealer that just got out of prison, and I moved in with him, and I started getting lots, large quantities of drugs very cheap, and I just had a complete nervous breakdown, and I would overdose every day. I would turn blue.
So
I'd be
this is when your life was on the line.
yeah, yeah. My life was on the line before that. I actually skipped some parts. Like,
It's okay. Yeah, yeah. Let's see where you're at.
yeah. Yeah. Well, ever since I was about 16, my life it was. That's when I put my life in jeopardy every day.
Yes.
But back to where I was having the nervous breakdown, it was like that's when things really got crazy. I was overdosing every day, and I stopped taking my methadone, and I got real sick.
So the withdrawals from methadone.
Oh yeah, it lasted about 8 months.
Oh
It was
man.
terrible.
Yeah.
There's this one guy. He was a rapist. He lived across from me. He had GH. He'd make his own GHB, and I used to take the GHB just to not be sick. I'd just black out, and I overdosed on that and woke up in the hospital.
But you ever asking yourself, why am I not dead yet?
I didn't know why I couldn't die
Yeah.
because I'd watch other people die, and they weren't doing near as much as I was.
Yeah.
I would take it to the extreme where I would turn blue, lose consciousness, and I'd stop breathing. I'd be dead. I'd always wake up, and I'm like, what is going on? Why can't I just
You're hoping you're in heaven or somewhere else, huh?
yeah. Yeah, it was very strange. I asked the aliens about this
Yeah.
through Jim, and they said you were preserved. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
It's interesting. So here you are in the 2000s, mid 2000s, what 2005. So and then go up to 2006, 7, 8. What was going on? Did you still have access to a computer? Were you still digging and trying to find more information on extraterrestrial?
At that time, I was in jail.
Okay.
I got set up by the drug task force, and they took me down. I spent a lot of time on the run. I was on the run for a while,
Yes.
and I did a robbery, and I went to jail for that.
Hmm.
And then I got out of jail, and the drug task force contacted me, and they wanted me to set people up. They wanted me to.
So
Yes,
for the benefit of your freedom, you had to work for them.
No, I never worked for them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, I'll never work for the police.
Oh,
That's a death sentence. Don't ever do that. Not with the people I knew. They'd kill
so
me.
they wanted you to work for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I told them I would, just
Yeah.
so they would give me a ROR bond, released on my own recognizance. And as soon as I walked out of that building, they said, "Oh, make sure you call me." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm never talking to you again." So
Wow.
then I went back on the run for 2 years, and
Wow.
that guy caught up with me, and then I went to jail for.
Did you ever, at that time at all, did your mom or anybody try to contact you, your brother, anybody?
I would contact my mom, but only for money.
Okay, okay. Interesting. And let's see here. Here you are. You're on the run. And then where did you go then after that time? Where did you finally a place where you could feel a little bit more safer?
I just bounced around from place to place, really. You know,
Yeah.
living with crack houses and things like that.
Yeah. So this go up to what, 2009, 2010? Where are you at? 2011?
Yeah, that's when I met these people. They were my best friends. I moved in with them, and I was living with them, and we did a lot of drugs. I mean, insane amount of drugs. And then we found this new drug. It was very powerful. It's a synthetic cannabinoid, and we would do it till we passed out. Like we would smoke the pure chemical, and we were a little bit sick. We would get people that never did it before, and
Right.
give them the pure chemical just to watch them overdose, and we'd watch them. It was like our entertainment. We'd watch them twitch around on the floor and have seizures and foam
Wow.
at the mouth, just for fun. That was our. It's messed up, but that's what we did. But
Interesting. And the at that time, so you weren't even aware. I mean, around, you had no access, or you didn't care about finding more information out about extraterrestrials at the time or anything like that. Were you?
no, I didn't care.
Okay.
I was just waiting to die.
So were you still having any contact at that time?
I was, but I wasn't aware of it.
Aware. Okay.
I've always had contact my entire life, just I wasn't aware.
So take me up now to speed. Was it just recently in the past couple years? Let's go back 2010, 11, 2012. It was around 2012, 2013. What really started happening to you? Like where did you end up at that time?
Okay, about 2.5 years ago, that's when I started to wake up. I started to get into. I was also, well, even before that, I was starting to, I went into mental health. I wanted to understand. So then I started listening to the doctors. I was on tons of medication for about 4 years. And it didn't help me. It just made me numb and just I couldn't think or anything.
Feel, yeah.
Yeah. And then about 2.5 years ago, I started getting to, just one day I woke up and I just could not stop watching conspiracy stuff. I got into Alex Jones and and everything. I just couldn't stop. And I've known about the New World Order since I was a kid. I never knew how. No one ever told me.
So 2.5 years ago, you had access. Did you still have your own computer with you in a room, or did you use someone else's? Or
Yeah, I had my own computer at that time because the pills, and the therapy and all that, it did help me with a sense of normality.
Yes.
I had a place to live. I had a computer. I had certain things.
So you started having a place that your environment was a little bit better. Your where you can really do the research and have the time to do the research.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like for about 6 months, all I did was all day long, I just watched conspiracy stuff. I'd learn everything I could. And then I started to get into Bashar and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I understand. I'm like, I understood everything he was saying.
Yes.
And I started watching other channeling videos. I'm like, these people, they know what they're talking about. And it really got to me.
To that.
Yeah, I felt it on a deep, deep level. I'm like, I understand.
Wow.
They understand. I'm like, maybe I do fit in somewhere.
Yes.
So, and I don't really know how I found you and calling. I don't really remember.
Probably through a channeling video or something. Maybe.
Yeah, probably I saw it on the sidebar on YouTube or something.
So you saw Max and Jim first.
Yeah. This was way back at the beginning before they had webinars and you had to type your questions into the site. You remember those days? You were there.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was totally out of character for me because these are like super positive people, and I'm like, but I just couldn't. I was just obsessed with it. I couldn't look away. I'm like, I got to explore this.
Yes.
So I did, and I would ask my questions. I'd type them in, and then I learned Jim was doing private sessions. So one day I just called him.
Nice.
And I started to talk to him, and he's an awesome guy. He helped me out so much. I mean, he's the kind of guy that's always there to listen. He'll always help you. I'm really thankful for him. So yeah, I started to be friends with him. I just call him to talk and what I experienced and things like that. And he always helped me, and he didn't like say I was crazy or anything. He believed everything I said.
Yes. Yeah, he has such a big heart,
Oh,
he really
yeah.
cares so much about humanity.
Yeah, he does. He's an awesome guy.
And when you were going through that, so at that very beginning, though, a couple years ago, what was it that you said that I just need to connect more with these people? Was it just because you started feeling that people, they're at your level, you could to relate to them and understand?
It was someone that I could actually have a conversation with, and they'd know what I was talking about.
Now, at that time when you were just questioning that, even before, was the Greys still starting to come more at a forefront to you?
Oh,
especially the Men in Black.
That's when it really started to get physical.
Okay. Did you started at the time when you're connecting with Jim? Did you even go to like the psychic fairs or any other places where you could,
I was still very isolated. I wanted to process it on my own.
ah,
And I started, I remembered things. I started to get my old abilities back from when I was a kid. I could see the orbs again. I could hear the messages.
yes.
And I could feel the beings touching me. Just, I would sit in my room all day by myself and just be completely entertained with all the beings in my room.
Wow. So the vision really, everything started clicking and coming back.
It like became, it wasn't a dream or an astral anymore. It was real. It was in my room. It was physical.
So
I could
go into
see
that. Tell us some stories about this. Yes. So go back to the one where about, I think it was the gray one came into the room.
Oh yeah, these are where the stories actually get very interesting with
Yes.
the ETs anyway. A
Go
lot of
back to your first one. Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay. You know how you filled out the application to go to the colonies. Oh, I did that, and I wasn't expecting anything to happen. And the one day, I'm laying in bed and I wake up, and I'm on my side and I'm paralyzed. I can only move my eyes, and there's this gray guy. He's about 3.5 feet tall. He's going through my stuff. He's going through my vitamins, looking at stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God. He's like a foot and a half away from my face. And I tried to scream, get the hell away from me. And all it came out was like a whimper. And it looked at me and its eyes got real big and its mouth hung open. I'm like, oh my God. And then it started to back away from me and I started to be able to move.
Yes.
And I rolled onto my back and I started to push myself up and I raised my leg up. And it put its hands up like this, like, I'm not here to hurt you, I surrender.
Yes.
And I looked at the clock and it said 4:07 or 4:09 or something like that. And then I looked into his eyes and it just like an overwhelming sense of compassion came over me. It's like, it wasn't negative. It was one of the good ones. And I was amazed. I'll never forget that ever.
So what happened to you? Did you see him leave or what happened?
I blacked out after that.
Ah. Okay.
And I woke up in the same position as when I blacked out, on my back with my leg hanging over the bed.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and it was just so exciting and thrilling to me. I just sat there for hours thinking about it.
Oh yeah, I would. Oh, that would be so exciting, and it's scary at the same time because you don't know how they're going to react when they realize that you saw them. He probably was like, he could see us.
Yeah, yeah. It was amazing. I'll never forget that.
Wow.
That's when it really became real to me. It really clicked.
Yes. Did you, once that happened, were you really then starting to do more research into the grays or anything that you can get your hands on?
Oh, even before that.
Okay.
As soon as I found the channeling videos, I couldn't stop. I'd watch all of them. Everything I could get my hands on all day long, I'd watch it.
And when they were speaking, like Max and Jim on the videos, did everything start to click? Did you start to, like, some of those questions that you've always been wanting to ask, were they starting to make more sense, get answered for you?
My life started to make sense.
Okay.
I understood what was happening and why I had to go through all the things I did. Everything was starting to fall into place and make sense. I understood, this is why I've always felt this way. This is why all that stuff happened to me. And I understood it on a higher level. And I started to become at peace with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's so cool, it's like almost like you're realizing now too that, man, you can share and relate if anybody else like goes deep, and especially people who've been in dark places, you understand. You can relate.
Yeah, that's one.
Show them the light.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm grateful for. I appreciate all the negativity in my life because I'm able to help people. I can really understand where they're at.
Wow. Yep. You've gone through so much. And that being said, that first experience, what was it like after you saw them? Did you even when you were younger, did you ever see any lights in the sky or anything that you can remember, or was it mostly just the dream time that you had the contacts?
I always thought they were dreams.
Okay.
I'd have dreams of ships, but they weren't dreams.
Right.
But I would just process it as a dream. I'm like, that must have been a dream.
Yes. In the physical, did you ever physically see those lights? Like the past couple of years, have you seen any of the lights in the sky at all, or just?
Oh yeah, yeah. I see them all. It's really no big deal to me. I see them all the time. I see them every day.
Wow. It's just normal.
It's normal for me.
Nice. Now, when did you said that Men in Black, when did they first make their appearance to you?
Okay, yeah. I started to go to these. I started to go out and meet people at different places, and this one guy approached me dressed all in black, and I walked in the room and I seen him. I'm like, I got to sit beside this guy, but I sat in the chair. There's one chair between us, and I'm like,
You could feel his presence.
yeah. It wasn't the Men in Black at first. It was the Illuminati, the same ones that were coming to me when I was a kid, and it just triggered all these emotions for me.
Yes.
And yeah, so I spoke with him. And
Yeah, tell us the story. Like, what was it like? Did the feeling of it? Yeah.
it was just very intense. He'd ask me questions that he already knew the answers to. And he's like, I could tell if you're going to lie to me. He's like, because he already knew the answers.
Okay.
So he would ask me just questions just like about my family and about my life and how I felt about aliens and, you know.
So he didn't come to you. You came to him in a way. Like you sat down beside him. And,
Well, he came there to meet me.
oh. So you had no idea he knew that you were going to somehow be there or go to that.
Yeah, he knew I was going to be there, and he came there, and I was just, as soon as I saw him, I had to speak to him.
Wow. How did he treat you, respectfully? Did you get to shake his hand or anything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I shook his hand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was actually part of his mission by the overlords. They sent him there to recruit me into the Illuminati.
I see. Because of what you knew? Why did you feel, Joe? Why did you feel that he wanted to recruit you? What was it about you did you feel inside? Of why?
I always felt that I knew things, and I was here to do things.
Yes.
No, I can't really go into what it is. I know what it is, but I can't talk about it.
Sure, I understand. And then, so he let go, shook his hand, and then he left. Did you ever see him again?
No.
Okay, not that one.
I've never seen him again. I spoke to him. Well, not in that way. I've never seen him again.
Right.
I've channeled him and I've spoken to him through Jim and things like that, but I never saw him again physically. But after that, the Men in Black came. There was a different energy.
So that was Illuminati, which is more more human, right?
Yeah.
Human.
Well, he was a Yell, but he appeared as a human.
Okay. So then the Men in Black, how did they approach you? Or did you see them from a distance in a car sitting or anything?
No, they came and they sat right beside me.
Was it when they was this a different event?
No, this was the next month.
The next month, where were you at? What was it like? The location, was it in your house? Where was that?
It was in a public place.
Okay.
Yeah, they tried to act friendly with me, but the energy was not friendly.
Right.
And they would ask me different kinds of questions, and I would ask them questions too about like people that lived in the earth and underground bases and vortexes and things.
Wait
like
a minute. So they sat down next to you. Were they a couple of them or just one?
Just one.
And he sat down in front of you then?
No, beside me.
Oh.
Yeah, he gave me his phone number and everything. He used to send me cryptic text messages.
Wow.
Yeah.
He sat down. Now he knew that what you knew already in a way.
Yeah. He knew all about.
Did you feel comfortable now that you saw one in a way, the Illuminati? Did he feel more accepting, or did you want nothing to do with him at the time?
Oh, I felt a strong connection because I'd known him my entire life.
Wow. And so you were going back and forth. Did you start to ask? Did he say you can ask me anything? Was he friendly or just more robotic in the tone? What was it?
It was like he was trying to fake emotions. It didn't. He was trying to be something he wasn't. It was just fake.
Okay.
But
do you feel like he was reaching out to you in a positive way, like trying to break free in a way?
Yeah. They're heavily controlled.
Yeah.
He used to tell me things like, Like he wished he could have a family and all this stuff and just have a normal life, and I didn't understand him. He could do it. It's before I knew much about them.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost that's what the sense sometimes that I get from some of them. You know, like all of them, but you sense that maybe they're wanting to know what that really human experience is to really go through that, but they can't in a way.
Right, right. Yeah, they do. A lot of them do. And I want to help them, but I can't. I can help them more by doing what I'm doing now.
Yes, yes, you can.
Yeah, 'cause the reason for them coming to see me is they wanted to recruit me. They wanted me to join the Men in Black,
Right.
and I almost did because part of it is a very alluring concept to me.
It sure is.
Be like a secret agent. You know? So I thought about it, but I'm like, no, I can't do that.
What's mom gonna think?
Yeah, yeah. Well, she would support me in anything I did.
Oh, I know.
I didn't want to leave, my mom behind and my family,
Yes.
and that's not the kind of life I wanted. I'd spent my whole life isolated. I wanted other things for myself, even though I never thought I would have them. I wanted the opportunity.
Yes. Wow. And that connection with the agent. Did the agent ever go into their names or anything like that, or they just kept it pretty private?
They call themselves by a different name, like a human name, but I know his real name, and I'm not going to say it.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't ask that. The that conversation when that took place and when he left, then what was your feeling at that time? Like after that, like wow, I just talked to, what was it? Did you feel like doing more research into them, or
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I started to. That's when I found Ivan Teller, and I started because he was channeling the Men in Black, and I found it fascinating.
yeah,
I learned a lot from those channeling, and that's when I really started to understand them.
yes,
Yeah, and they would they would come into my room. I could always feel them around, and they would take me and they'd put me in simulators. Their
wow,
simulators.
yeah,
It was very vivid. It's like you can't tell the difference between the simulator and right now. It's just
Right.
it's just as real. And the astral experiences, that's how they are for me. They're just as real as this. I can't tell the difference.
yes, and I've learned also, yeah, through the years, I'm starting to gain this like it's almost like a really great respect for them. Like you start to understand into the world like it's not so much to be feared.
I
They're
don't,
just following orders.
yeah, I don't fear them. I
Yeah.
respect them, and I feel bad for them.
Right, right. And I really do believe that what we talk about, what we share, is help opening them up too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're looking for a way out.
Yes, that's what I feel inside. Because I think humanity's waking up more, especially the people in these groups that we talk with. I really believe it's such an excitement too for them. Like that's their ticket home.
Yeah, it feels like you're going home. It feels,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like I never felt like I belonged anywhere, and I still don't. I mean, but I do more now.
Yes. Yes.
Like when I met you in person and I met other people in person, I felt like I belonged.
Right.
I was still, it was new to me and it was strange and awkward a little bit, but I felt like, yeah, I belong. These people understand.
Sure do.
They don't
Yeah.
judge or anything. It was just very accepting. It was incredible.
Yeah, you could feel it with people. These connections. It's like, and it's so nice to be able to sit down and talk with you about these things because it's like you taught me so much. Just by being able to sit down on one like that night. We stayed up late. Just
Oh yeah, I enjoyed those conversations.
I know, man.
Yeah.
I love doing that just to be able to, and I can still do that. That's what I love about you because we can just still share that understanding and it helps and it really helps heal us. It really helps us too.
It does. Yeah, because there was never anyone for you to. You could never really talk about these things with anybody.
Right. Right. It's true. It's really hard to find genuine people that really are open to this. And
Yeah.
so this is what it was all about, and I realize that now that why we're having these conversations now,
Yeah.
because it's a freedom. There's a freeing element to it. There's a hope, like, man, why am I here on the planet? What's my purposes or life purposes or, my soul's involvement? Why now? What is this really going toward? This process, we want to know, who are we? Why value ourselves? What is there more than life than just the paying the bills and just survival mode? There's got to
Yeah.
be more to it.
Yeah. There's more than the 9 to 5 job and
Yeah.
all that. There's just
Yes.
anything you can imagine is real somewhere. It's just,
Yeah. And so at this, so a couple years ago, you started doing research. You found Jim Hucolo, and we just like eat that up. You know what I mean? Just the videos and the conversations and stuff. What did you take away from it? What are you taking away from it now? What are you realizing now of why these groups are so important?
I see everything on a global level. I see everything is connected now, and I see a greater purpose. And I see a plan. Like, what I take away from it now is where I fit into it
Yes.
and how others fit into it, and just making connections with people.
Yeah. These more recent, have you had any more, the environment that you're in now, is it better than you were? I'm sure it is, than where you came from.
Oh, it's a different world.
Yeah. You feel like you can breathe more.
I do. I feel like I can actually breathe. It's like a big weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
Good.
I used to always have a hole inside in my chest. I used to, something always missing. It's because I didn't understand myself, and I didn't have anyone that loved me or understood me.
Yes. Wow. Do you still feel, those beings, are they still more real in your life? Are they coming around more? Are they backing off more?
The negative ones have. The negative ones backed away.
Good.
The positive ones are very respectful.
Yes.
But I still have, I have experiences every week at least, sometimes every day with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are they coming in like, what is it as real as when they first came in to your room that time, or is it still?
That's rare.
Okay.
It's mostly very vivid astral or holographic experiences.
Yes.
And sometimes it is physical because I come back with marks on my body.
Yes. Did you ever ask about the implants or anything in your body, or
Oh yeah.
what's going on with you? Yeah, within you?
I'm riddled with implants. A lot of them were negative implants and they've been removed. But I've had implants pretty much in every part of my body at one point in time.
Yes. And the implants are there. What do you see? What do you feel inside, Joe, for you personally? What is it? Do you feel that these implants, do you feel their purpose? What do you feel that they need just to have those within you?
They're for tracking, monitoring,
And also in a positive way, right?
Yeah, in positive ways, and also the negative ones were there to get information.
Okay.
But the positive ones, yeah, they're for monitoring my well-being and tracking and things like that. And a lot of it is for locating me to transport me places and things like that.
Wow. What's going on with like nowadays? Yeah, share with us. Like, what nowadays is it? Do you feel like you're like a leader, a commander? Do you feel like you're? Yeah.
Yeah, I always knew that I was important and a leader, but I never felt it because I never really had any power. I always got my power from negative ways, like
Yes.
from fear, making people afraid of me or something like that. That's the only way I ever had power. But now, it's weird. People just like have a respect for me, and they listen to me, and I'm like, I don't have anything that profound to say really, but they take it away as something profound. And I'm like, that's great. And I've been learning about all my past lives, and I learned you bring the relative ones forward into this life, and and it's totally unexpected for me. I'm always some kind of commander or a leader of a
Yes.
ship or a little army group or something like that. I'm always the guy in charge. I'm like, what?
Yeah, the lot's been blocked somehow from the memory. You know,
Yeah.
your that those connections. Do you see yourself connecting with the other Hucklo members or the people in the groups? Do you see that you're like your lifetimes or what you're doing astrally? You know, on the ships and stuff.
Yeah, I have a lot of memories, but a lot of them I can't talk about because
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not supposed to.
Sure.
But a lot of them has to do with working on their technology, and it's weird because I'd come back and I'm like, what? Because I don't understand it, and I'm the one there telling them how to improve their ships and things like that, and I'm like, what?
Now, Joe, here's another important question. Would you like to have your physical ship here with you now, or you
Oh yes, I would love that. I'd live on my ship if I had a ship.
could?
In my house.
Same here. I would be. I think that would be the coolest thing. Don't have to worry about gasoline, filling up on gas in the car. You do like that, you know. You just jump in
Yeah.
your ship and go where you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Come right back, enjoy wherever you want to go. Yeah, just travel.
I'd come and pick up you. I'd pick up all my friends.
Simulate the
Yeah.
food on the ships, automatic,
Yeah.
organic. Boom, you got it. You know.
Yeah, yeah. No more going to the grocery store and reading labels.
Exactly.
Right. Yep. You know what you're eating, and yeah.
Did they ever give you a glimpse? Do you ever remember vividly that they shared with you or anything about a little bit more about the future, um, the timelines? Did they ever explain that, you know, where humanity's going toward?
Yeah. Yeah, they have. They've explained parts of their agenda to me, and that's why I don't agree with all of their agenda,
Sure.
but it's positive, and just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean it's not good. And I got to take everyone's viewpoint into consideration
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's a collective decision. It's not my decision or what I think it should be. It's everyone's. Everyone has their say in it.
Yes. Wow. Those other beings, if you don't mind sharing, who do you feel that's like the strongest that comes closest to you as like a species, the races? Which ones do you? Yeah. Why them? What is it about them that you felt that you have connections with? Yeah.
Well, they got a bad reputation, but they're very strong. They're very confident.
Yes.
They're very direct. And they got like an honest directness to them, the positive ones. And it's an inspiration to me because you can also be you can be like a badass, but you can also be positive.
Yes.
You don't have to be negative. You can help people.
Wow.
So
Now, did you ever feel those connections with them, the reptilians, real early in life, or is mostly the Zetas were working with you, or it's better to say Greys, when you were younger? Was it mostly the Greys?
it was mostly the Greys, but I always felt connection to reptilians. I was never afraid of them. I was
Yeah.
afraid of Greys. Greys terrified me, but reptilians, they never frightened me.
Wow. And when you saw them, what's the closest that you can give us? Like, paint us a picture. Were they more look like crocodiles? What iguanas? What did they kind of look like?
Bipedal iguanas.
Okay, iguanodon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. They're, most of the ones I've seen are green. Some are tan. Some are black.
Yeah. Did you ever see the purple ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's yeah. My girlfriend. She's related to purple ones.
Ah, the manipulated one.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, tell me. Go share with us the other ones. Also, did you what you say the like the Lyrans? You yell,
I've seen.
Palladians. Did
I've
you ever
seen.
see them?
Oh yes, yes. The Palladians, they're really nice people. Their skin is really soft. It's
Wow.
like really, really soft. They're really super nice. You know, I've seen them. I've been to their planet.
Yeah. What was yeah, what was that like? Do you remember a little bit from there? What were their ships like? Did they ever go into any detail, like just something that that you enjoyed, that you really enjoyed on that being on their ships or the planet?
I enjoyed going outside and seeing the sky. They got like it's a red sky.
Wow.
Kind of reminds you of the Grand Canyon, where the place I was at on the planet.
Yeah, yeah.
I was there with a lot of people from the site. Actually, they probably don't remember. I won't mention their names. But
Sure.
they were there.
Wow. Interesting. Um, did you get to see? Did you have a connection with the beings that you're talking with at the time through telepathy, and also were the a mix between the male and female that you could tell? Were you more easier to talk to the females?
It was easy to talk to either one.
Either one. Okay. Did some of them look very attractive, like some of the females?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did they ever? Did you ever ask like Earth-based questions on how they viewed us?
I've asked how they viewed me.
Yes.
And yeah, I have a few questions like that. How they view us. Where do you think we're going? Why are you here? What are you trying to do? Things
Yeah.
like that. I've asked them that.
Interesting. Is there anything else that you would like to share that you can think of that any stories, anything else that you can remember that you can talk a little bit about?
I have tons of stories.
Yeah, share with
Um,
us.
the big part of my life was overlords, reptilian overlords. They controlled me for the last 24 years.
Was
And,
it part like of the archons, the archon energy, or
these are like the people that there's the Illuminati, and then there's them. And they control the shadow
Okay.
government and the Illuminati.
Oh. Yes, yes.
Yeah, and they're 12 feet tall, real big. They go like this, and they span 3 shoulder widths of people.
Wow.
They are big, but I was never afraid of them. I would be irritated and angry with them, and I didn't know why.
Were they draconians or different?
I don't know. I think they are. I think they're Draco.
Dracos? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
They're real big. They're strong. But
Yeah.
I was never afraid of them.
So that's where they get the respect for you, probably, and how you can relate with them. I mean, do they have any negative intentions toward you, or there was
Yeah.
more of a controlling thing? Control
They wanted to control me for
for
use
energy.
me, to use me as a tool
Okay.
for their agenda and the energy. It's
They
weird.
feed off of it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they wouldn't let me sleep.
I've heard of that before. I was always wondering about how the manipulation, but I was wondering. So they feed off of negative energy that gives them like a high.
They actually get. I was told they feed off of love energy
Oh wow.
because they can't produce it themselves.
Interesting. So I'm wondering if this is a part of the shift for them too, and their evolution.
Yeah. I try to look at it that way. I don't like them because of what they did to me.
Right.
They would control my thoughts, my emotions. They would twist me up all the time. Wouldn't let me
Right.
sleep. Try to drive me insane to break me.
Yes. Interesting. Once that happened and you started, like you said, the environment that you're in now, it's not like that really
No.
anymore, is it?
No, it's actually very recently that I've broken free.
Good. Interesting. And still the men in black, they're not around anymore around you?
They pop in from time to time.
Right. And I think it's more of a protective field in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, they've never done anything negative to me.
Yes. So they're probably more on gathering information on what you say, probably stuff like that.
Yeah, they want to understand me. They called me a phenomenon.
Well, that's a compliment.
Yeah, they're interested in me because I can remember so much. They told me that I have the ability to reverse the mind erasing technology that they have, and they want to understand that.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Nice. Yeah. I think it's great because we, in a way, because I always see it as okay, they're probably one of the first beings there to a crash. You know what I mean? Like contact. They're usually the ones that can be there probably before the regular government gets there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they're a cleanup crew. They're all about suppression.
Yes. And so I'm always wondering through them if, like you said, they have the controllers who control them in a way, but like you said, they're probably a lot of them gone rogue too, probably.
They don't live very long.
Oh, okay.
If they
So,
get, they have to go into hiding.
yes.
They'll be killed.
Wow.
But I see a future for them. It may sound strange, but
Yeah.
I see a positive future for them. If they could break free and be freed, they could become a great positive force on the planet after first contact. They could be
Yes.
like like a security force.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how I felt too. I could see them do that role where they're actually still helping us and help protecting humanity too, in a way. And they still
Yeah.
do that in a way.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
even though they're cleaning up, it seems like they're the intermediators. They suppress, but they're actually protecting those who really want to come down and show this all of a sudden
Yeah.
scare humanity into forcing an awakening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then we're not really, the majority of us is not really ready at that large scale, because you're right, it changes 3D reality, boom, instantly, and people are forced and scared out of their mind and go into wars and just survival mode.
Yeah, total riots and chaos would happen.
Yeah. So I can respect that about the Men in Black. I can respect why it wouldn't, serve humanity at the all at once. It has to be, in a process.
Yeah, everything that happens, I've realized, everything that happens, even the negative things, everything serves a purpose. Everything. You can get value out of everything. You can learn something from everything. Everything can serve you in some way. You just have to see it from that point of view.
Interesting. Any other stories that you like to share that you can think of? Just something.
The most recent one was I told you about it. I was abducted by the reptilians. I was taken to this facility. They were showing me around the facility.
Yeah.
A lot of strange stuff. And I walked outside. I was going back to the ship, and these like cat people came, and they surrounded me, and I thought they were going to attack me. And I threw my drink in their face and like, get away from me. I thought they were going to attack me. And all of a sudden, it was like this strange sound I can't describe, and this big white portal opened up in the sky, and all these violet orbs came rushing out, and they picked up all the cats. And I wasn't afraid. I felt it was very positive energy. It felt like the Elohim energy.
Wow.
I think it was them. And so I was just like, thanks, I can walk the ship now. And I was walking, and all of a sudden the orbs, they all surrounded me. Time stopped. Everything froze, but I could still hear them. And they said, don't run from us. We're here to assist you, and we're here to assist all of humanity.
Wow.
And then I was instantly taken back to my body. I instantly was jolted awake.
Nice, Joe.
That was an awesome experience.
Wow. Yeah, I've always felt that deep down inside, we do have some great protectors. I mean, there's more positive than negative.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like the universe, it always bends towards the light.
A little bit more. Yeah, definitely more, I think. Yes.
Yep.
It's either neutral or more toward the light.
Yeah. We see a lot of negativity on Earth because that's what we're going through right now, but that's not how it is everywhere. There's a lot more light than there is darkness. But still, there has to be balance. But
do you feel one person can make a difference in the world?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you only make a difference for one person, one other person other than yourself, or even for yourself, people can see that.
Yes.
It raises the vibration of everyone. When you raise yours, it just has to. It affects everyone around you. So even if the only person you ever help is yourself, you're helping everyone else too, even if you're not aware of it.
Wow. Yeah. Huh. And the people, that's the most recent. Wow. That's fascinating. Interesting.
Yeah, that was only less than a week ago that happened.
Holy cow.
Stuff like that happens to me all the time.
That is so cool that you're like in tune with that, though. You're right. It's like it's a vibration. You start to see it when you're really in tune, And they must have, those implants, I think, also help adjust that, don't they? You think?
I think they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they regulate things
Nice.
because a lot of the ETs, they want us to remember.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So it's like a process, and a lot of the ones that are taken, it's usually early age or generational, like
Yeah.
their grandfather or their grandparents, and then, their parents and then the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. And you really usually, like for me and a lot of other people I've seen, you don't remember it till later on in life.
Right. Right.
You don't understand what's going on or why you feel a certain way your entire life. But later on in life, you start to remember and it all makes sense.
Yes.
Like everything fits together like a giant puzzle.
Yep. A movie.
Yeah, it's like a movie. It's an awesome movie.
What would you like to see for the future? What would you like to see? Like more and more films come out about the extraterrestrial connections and
Yeah, I would. I would like to see actual, like what they do in the colonies, the videos they make up there with
yeah,
interviews with the aliens, like actual ones, and with standing with humans and seeing that interaction. I would like that to come out.
that would be nice. That right there, that really show humanity what's possible. You
Yeah,
know,
and
and
then
yeah,
to absolve a lot of fear. You see
yes,
everyday people that you would see walking down the street, sitting there having a conversation and interacting with them. It makes them. It puts the idea in their head that they're. It makes them more human to them because
yes,
they're afraid of them. They're afraid of what they don't understand, what their intention is. But if they see that, it makes it more human.
yes, and it's more accepting too, because once you, yeah, I can see it that way. It'd be more accepting where you're not trying to, you're understanding your fears. You're understanding that they're not that much different from you, from each other.
Right, because we're not that much different.
Right? It's
There's a lot of differences, but we're similar on the core level.
yes,
We're the
that quote.
same. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I understand about racism and stuff here that we have, and even over the color of our skin. People will hate each other just by this color of our skin or our language barriers with the language.
Yeah, or religion or
Yeah,
political views.
political views or religion. It's like,
Yeah,
why?
it's
It's like,
ridiculous.
why do we kill each other over just those differences?
It's insanity.
We have one planet. We're flesh and blood. We have one planet. Instead of separating people and stereotyping categories and putting each other in boxes, why can't we just say humanity in general? Oneness,
Right, right.
instead of, yeah,
Yeah, well, what it is, what I think it is, like on a deep level, that it's all with religion and politics and just racism and things like that. It's people. They're always searching for the truth in their own way, and they're trying to express themselves and be heard.
yes, their voice.
That's what they're trying to do, and they don't even realize it, and it comes out in negative ways.
Yes,
And if people would just realize we're all looking for the same thing, we're all after the same thing, people would be more accepting and they'd treat each other better.
yeah, I definitely see that. Definitely. Yep. Interesting. The relationship with your mom, has it grown stronger?
It has. She's opened up to a lot of these things. She believes me because she's seen the change in me.
Yes. When she was younger, did she ever talk about, or your brother, did they ever talk about their interactions? Was it generational through your family?
It was, but they don't talk about it.
Okay, okay.
But they always would talk about it through sci-fi films. Like my mom would be like, I always wanted to go on a spaceship. I
Oh,
always
gosh.
She's like, yeah, if you ever get a ship, she's like, you gotta show me your ship. Things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like my whole family. We've always been into sci-fi and
Yes.
things like that.
Nice. Interesting. Um, yeah, is there anything else here that you'd really like to share or a message for humanity?
Um, I really don't have any messages for humanity. They can take away from what they want from what I already said. But I guess it's it's interesting to me. It's very wonderful the thing I'm going through right now. It's like I never thought I would actually find someone that I could identify with and like have a relationship with and actually love, that would understand me and treat me the way I wanted to be treated. But
Yes.
just the last 3 weeks, I found somebody that does that for me.
Cool.
And it's awesome. I met her through the site, actually.
You don't have to name the name. I'm not going to put you on the spot.
She won't mind. Her name's Bianca.
Oh,
So
cool. Nice.
she won't mind. I actually said I was going to mention her. So.
Oh, cool. I like
Yeah,
that.
but that's new for me. I've never had that before. So
Oh, that's wonderful, Joe. I'm so
Yeah.
happy.
thank you. It's a
Yes.
very exciting future.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, when you can relate with people and get at their level and that understand you and you understand them, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling too. It's like it
Oh.
gives you that sensation of being alive, again.
Yeah, you feel alive. Right. Right.
Yes.
It fills a void in you.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Wow. Is it easier to sleep at night now?
Yeah, I can sleep very well now. Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
So something that's been happening, especially in the past probably couple months, is really freeing you to express yourself more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of emotional clearing and like just like I guess call it purification, I guess. Reconnecting to who I really am.
Yes. Well, we can wrap this up. If there's anything else you'd like to share.
Yeah, well, if anyone would ever like to talk to me or need to talk to me or are interested in my
Yeah.
experiences,
How do people get a hold of you? Yes.
through Google, just add me or message me. Don't be afraid
And I'll
to.
and I'll add the some links and stuff. If you want to give me and stuff, I'll add them to the video here.
Okay, yeah. In a couple months, I'm going to start making my own videos and things like that. So,
Nice. Yeah.
but if anyone has any questions or wants to hear more, or has something they need help with, just feel free to contact me. I'll always talk to people and try to help them with anything. I never judge anyone. I listen to people.
It's wonderful. All right.
So yeah, thanks for watching and listening to my story, everybody.
Thank you, Joe, for being here. This is really nice. I'm happy that you can share your story, what you've been through and what you've gone through, and you're an inspiration for many people that need that help, to say that, we're here for a reason and don't give up,
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, never give up.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much, brother. And hang on here after I stop the broadcast. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And we are done. This is a wrap. Bye, Joe.